Hello. So in this video, I want to give you a little bit more of a guide on how to do intermittent fasting. Now, intermittent fasting is something that I strongly encourage for people to try out. And basically what it is where you don't eat, you don't consume food, ideally no sugar, and really not too much protein, really no protein, because those two things, if you eat carbohydrates or protein, those things can turn into glucose. So the idea is you want to keep your glucose very, very low. If you slept the night before and then you wake up and then you just hydrate, you have a few glasses of water, and then you go on in your day, you don't have the coffee right away, you hold off for a little bit, and then when you find you're struggling a little bit, I encourage to have a cup of coffee, black, no sugar, no cream. Another option would be actually coffee with coconut oil or butter. That's called maybe a bulletproof coffee. You might have heard of that. And then you keep going on with your day. Hopefully at that point you're at work. You're staying busy, you're active, you're moving a lot. Maybe drink another glass of water. And then as lunchtime starts showing up, if this is the first time you're doing it or you're pretty new to this concept, that's usually around the time you would have your first meal. And you make it a healthy meal. Don't go for poutine or don't go for bad food or don't go for burgers and fries. Eat a healthy meal. Now, I'm going to be fasting today, and I'm actually going to be doing a longer fast. And how I'm going to achieve that, for one, is because I've been fasting a lot. I'm used to it. My body's more efficient with its food and its protein and its fats. So I can do this in a way that it doesn't affect me as much as maybe you're doing it for the first few times. So that's one of the main key points. If you're new to this, you have to ease in. The body doesn't like changes. So at the same time, I'm also used to feeling a little bit hungry and just hydrating a little bit more and going on and staying busy. And that's what I'm going to be doing for the afternoon. In about half an hour, I'll be working, and my mind will be occupied, and I won't even think much about food. And actually, my first meal is going to be at dinner time, and I'm going to have a nice, healthy dinner. It's going to be, I think we're having chicken tonight, and there's going to be some vegetables and some carbohydrates and some fats. But if I'm struggling, I've got a little backup plan. I'm going to add a little bit of a bone broth. I'm going to warm up some bone broth, which bone broth tends to be high in fat and it's liquids. There's a bit of protein in it, but that's okay. That's a little bit like my plan B if I find I'm struggling. If I'm struggling, also another plan B I might do is just have another coffee. I might have a second cup of coffee. If I'm really struggling, I might add some oils to fill me, to make it a little bit more satisfying, and then I will fast till supper. So that's the plan, and that's what I do often, and that's one of the ways that I find that I'm able to stay lean. And I would encourage you to play more with that and try it out, test it, and see how your body does. And some of you are going to find it much easier than others. Depends maybe on your cycle, depends on the stresses that you have during that day. Today I had a regular day. I'm actually working out right now. I'm finishing up a workout. I lift heavy weights, and I'm going to be working. I interact with people. I'm not grumpy. I don't have a headache. I actually feel pretty good, pretty energetic, and that's what I'll be doing. And then around dinner time, I'll have a meal. And obviously my calories are going to be low today. Now, it doesn't mean that I'm going to keep doing that for forever. Actually, my goal isn't to lose a lot of weight. Actually, I'm pretty satisfied with my weight. I like to put on a bit more muscle. That's one of my focus. So I'm not going to stay in a caloric deficit for too long. So probably tomorrow I'll have more of a maintenance day. And that's how I do it. So, if you're new to this intermittent fasting, there's a lot of talk about it. It's been around forever. And if you're a religious person, then you might know a little bit about this, because a lot of religions encourage people to fast. And you might know that I'm a little bit, I don't like to call myself a religious person, but I definitely believe in God. And I actually try to incorporate also some of that into when I fast. Now some of you might be like, oh, I don't know anything about God, or I'm not a religious person. So that's okay. You don't have to. It doesn't have to turn into a religious thing. You can turn it into a health thing. But for me, I combine both. The way I combine the religious part is I just ask to depend a little bit more on the Lord, and oftentimes that's pretty helpful. So I just use maybe more focus and time to use that. So I combine a bit of spiritual health with physical health together. But you know, if you're not into that, that's okay. But just know that, you know, again, fasting's been around forever. People would fast, and there are a lot of health benefits. And if weight loss is one of your main objectives, you can achieve great things with intermittent fasting. You can try it. You know, take a few days off and go back on it. Tends to be easier when we're busy. Tends to be easier when we're feeling good. Tends to be easier when we have a plan, when we've committed to it. So that's a lot of things to think about. If you want to talk to me more, I can guide you. I've been doing intermittent fasting for about 6 years now. Sorry, not 6 years. For about maybe 3 years. So if you have any questions about this, right below in the comments, I'd love to answer your questions. If you're not sure, if you're a woman, if you should be doing intermittent fasting, if you're pregnant, should I be doing intermittent fasting? Those are all great questions. Just put your questions down below, and I'll do my best to answer them. You might wonder, well, I'm a little bit older, you know, I'm at an age where I don't know if intermittent fasting is good for me. Or if I take medication, should I do intermittent fasting? If you have some of those questions, just write it below and I'll answer them. If you're like, well, you know, I've tried it before and I failed miserably, just, you know, describe it a little bit below and I'll maybe guide you through it a little bit more. And I can tell you, it is a great strategy. I know it can help you. It has helped many people to build on muscle, reduce some weight loss. It's great for cancer prevention. It's great for a lot of things. So I hope you'll give it a try. All right, talk to you later. Bye-bye. All right, if you like what you just saw, you should
subscribe,
like us,
any
share,
and follow, and all the rest of the social stuff that you're supposed to do. Just click a button, click lots of buttons, make sure you like us, you share, and you subscribe, and you review, and Nico says
goo
goo gaga. So make sure you goo gaga us too. All right, bye.